Llewellyn with the Spark of the Self, going over the astrological energy forecast for July 31st to August 6th. Okay, so the message for this week that we need to keep in mind and keep at the forefront is that we need to stop resisting the change, and we need to come from a perspective of excitement and joy and curiosity versus fear. So a perspective change is needed at this time. There may be some bumps, possibly a new challenge that gets presented on the road this week. However, don't be afraid to make changes in your relationships, and this includes relationships with yourself as well as relationships with others, both romantic, familial, anything with friends. That need to be made. This week will provide deep healing, and you'll be protected and safe in order to move forward from this pain. Okay, so have fun on the journey. You know, it's the journey, not the destination, that's important. Okay, so have fun. Find a way to make it fun, okay, and keep going. So the background energies that's been prevalent for a while is, first we've had Pluto be in retrograde, which is from May 1st and will last until October 10th. This is going to bring about an inner transformation, okay? Then Saturn retrograde, which went in effect from June 17th and will be about until November 6th. This is about reviewing past lessons in order to move forward. No new lessons will be presented. However, you have to learn the lesson in order to not repeat it so you can move forward. Neptune retrograde, which started June 30th and will be about until December 6th. This is where the veil is lifted. The truth is exposed. People's true intentions for you, lies, deceit, people's masks and what they wear in front of you are all going to be exposed to you. So let people show you who they truly are. Like, don't try to control the situation. Control comes from the place of fear. Surrender and let, when people say let go and let God, well, if that is your faith, let go and let God. Or if it's for the pagan community, Wiccan community, anybody who's into chakras, healing, intuition, spirituality overall, let karma sort it out. People's true intentions are going to be exposed, and the embarrassment comes from how they act, not how you act. How they act is on them, you know, and the karmic ramifications is for them to pay. You focus on you, okay? Focus on you and building what you're trying to build. Put all that attention and energy into your goals and where you want to be, because that's what this week's really about, and we'll get into more of that here in a second. But it's what's important to you. Put your energy and focus behind that, not all this other nonsense that's like low vibrational or anything. Don't spend time and energy dwelling on the past or what these people do. Like I said, let them show you. Use the tool of detachment to see, what is this trying to teach you at this moment? What do you need to know? How is this triggering you? Why is it triggering you? What do you need to know about it? And then after you come to the realization of what you need to realize about yourself, then you can move forward and like not waste another thought on it. Because why waste another thought on it? Their actions are on them. You didn't act that way. You didn't move that way. They did. Okay? So if it gets to the point where it's disrespectful or, you know, it's a boundary crosser or anything like that, you've already seen all you need to see. You don't need to announce it to the world. You don't need to make a huge proclamation or anything. Just see their true intentions for you and make the changes that you need to make. Simple, easy. Okay? Then Neptune, I already went to Neptune. We have Venus retrograde, which is a newer one, which is all about recharge, innovation, and healing, and possibly leaving something behind. That could be a relationship, that could be an old, outdated belief that we have. This started July 22nd and will be about until September 3rd. So it's not a good time to get married or to start anything new. So no new. Okay? So this week, July 31st, the moon will be in Aquarius, getting in preparation for the Superfullmoon the next day. This is going to bring about an intuitive focus on areas that we can change in order to result in more freedom to be our authentic selves, okay? Rely on your own guidance and advice. Go with the flow and seek out balance, okay? Because we're trying to balance ourselves this week. We're We're not trying to get super excitable. We're trying to conserve our energy for when it counts. Then on August 1st, the Mars will trine Jupiter and Mercury will be in opposition to Saturn. Majority of this is going to happen in the late afternoon, evening time frame. So this is going to be a strong drive and luck in areas of expansion. And keep in mind, because of the Venus retrograde, the areas of expansion will be in love as well as finance. So if we are willing to utilize our relationships and working together with others, being collaborative. Remember, the people at the top are collaborating. The people at the bottom are competing. And what do you do when you are competing? Majority of that comes from jealousy, comes from envy. And what does it mean when you are feeling jealous or envious of the success of someone else? That means that your perspective is entirely based off of fear and lack. You are unable to see your blessings. You are unable to see anything to be grateful for, and because you are not in a place of gratitude, you are blocking your own blessings. Okay, so if you have true confidence in yourself and you are coming from a place of love and you are vibing high, you don't feel envy or jealousy, because you know that you have everything that you need and that the universe will provide for anything that you need, that you are loved and protected. And as long as you tell yourself that and believe that wholeheartedly, you will be. It's when you allow fear to creep in, when you maybe let in something unconsciously that will feed off of your fears, will feed off your insecurities. You know, if you feel like you're not protected, then unconsciously you could let in forces that provide further fear, provide that further feeling of just not being safe and not being stable to do whatever it is you're trying to do. Okay, so you need to be able to work with others, collaborate, utilize those relationships, because that is the human experience. It's about relationships and building those bonds, as well as to truly experience what it is to be human, to being in the present, being in the now. And another thing that we need to know is that as one door shuts on this day, another will open. So there's going to be an end in the beginning, and the beginning of an end. So you're going to leave something behind, and you're going to have a new door, a new opportunity open to you, okay? And then we are also going to have a super full moon on this day towards the early afternoonish, about 2:30 p.m. It'll be at the peak for this full moon. Now, we will have 2 super full moons this month. We will have one on August 1st, but then we will also have one on August 31st. And if you utilize the moon phases, you will have ample opportunities to utilize opportunities. So if you're working with the moon phases, you're using the new moon to cast out your goals, your aspirations, what you're trying to manifest. Full moon is manifestation. Then you've got the waning and dark, which is where you have some introspection. You cast out old ideas, negative thoughts, anything that would, for your intention that you sent out, for your goals, for whatever you're trying to manifest. Well, now you have 2 full moons to utilize to your advantage. So use those. But also keep in mind that because this energy is very heightened, whatever you think about is going to be manifested. Okay, so if your thoughts are primarily negative, you are going to have twice as much time to manifest those negative thoughts. So use it to your advantage. Use this knowledge to your advantage. If you know that anything that you do during this month is going to be amplified, ensure that your mindset is positive. Ensure that your mindset is conducive to building your life, because we are all in this new phase. We are all in this new beginning. A lot of us had in the collective unconscious had a chapter shut on us, and we are beginning a new life. Well, this new life comes with the new thoughts and perspectives. So if anything that you are going to have at this time is going to be amplified, you need to establish a routine and hold yourself accountable for your internal dialogue to ensure that it is conducive to what it is you are trying to do. It is not something that will lead to self-sabotaging behavior, because you have twice the likelihood of doing that this month. Okay? And this super full moon is going to be in Aquarius. It's going to be an introspection on changes we need to make in order to be fully in our authentic selves, okay, to have the freedom to be our authentic selves. And it's also a time where we are ready to establish our belief systems, okay? We're going to use our inner power, have some courage, and define our goals and needs, and figure out what they mean to us. So like these super full moons are to analyze what things mean to you. Well, what is super important to you? Why are your goals important to you? Why are some of the needs that you have? You need to define your needs. You need to define your goals, define your why, and then have the courage to pursue it, as well as to assert your boundaries for anything that would thwart you or get in your way from what you are trying to accomplish. Alrighty, so that goes into August 2nd. We have the moon in Pisces, as well as the moon will also square Uranus at this time. This is going to be an emotionally charged day, so unexpected upsets and surprises can occur. And this is going to mostly be about in the early afternoon, so before noon. We're going to focus on, there's going to be an intuitive focus on our emotions and the emotions behind our ideas, like the why. There's going to be an opportunity to be in alignment with our most authentic selves, and we are to take it. But like I said, this is going to be a very emotionally charged day, so be very mindful of what could possibly trigger you to get you to be upset. Remember, you don't want to, it's healthy to feel the emotion. It is not healthy to wallow or to purposely stay stagnant in an emotion. You feel it, you get what you need from it, like the information that your emotion is trying to tell you, because typically if you're feeling something, it's trying to tell you. Like anger means that your boundaries are being crossed, and you need to figure out why. If you are feeling, like I said, jealous or envious, that's because you are unable to see the blessings in your own life. You're unable to be appreciative for what you have. You feel like you don't have something, so you're jealous of it. Or sadness is something that has hurt you, that you need to deal with, you need to heal the pain from. So don't dwell in the emotion. Feel it, but let it go. And like I said, the surprises can be good, in a lot of ways. Because even if it's a negative surprise, like I said, this time period, people are going to show you what they're going to show you. It's on them. You don't need to pay their karma with them. You don't need to be fully invested in whatever negative thoughts or cycles they're in. This week is about taking care of you and not be absorbed in everyone else's problems, because what our internal world is what is reflected into our external world. Okay, so if internally you're full of chaos and self-doubt, self-hatred, that will be reflected in your external world, because that's what you're going to attract into your life. Okay, so on August 3rd, we're going to have the conjunction of the moon and Saturn. This is also going to happen in the morning, so probably before work for most people. This day is going to have a heightened sense of intuition, and your intuition is going to be in full alignment with your soul purpose. So whatever your soul purpose is, your intuition is going to provide you with nudges. It's going to provide you with sparks. It's going to provide you with little inklings of excitement for something that is in the area of your soul purpose. Okay, so it's going to be hand in hand. They're going to be working hand in hand. So pay attention to your dreams, warnings, or ideas that are presented to you on this day. And on August 4th, the moon will be in Aries towards the late evening. This is going to give us an intuitive focus area that we need to take an action in. There's going to be a decision that needs to be made, okay? Mull over that decision, consider the consequences. However, do not take too long to mull over that decision, because someone or something may take advantage of your slowness. And that's going to be reflected the next 2 days. Okay, so think about it, follow your intuition, follow your gut. What does your gut say about this decision? And make the decision. Do not take too late or too long, because someone may take advantage of your slow response. Okay, and the odds may not be in your favor as much as they were. And then on August 5th, you'll have the moon trine the sun. So again, our intuition is going to be very heightened. This whole week, our intuition is very heightened. Someone or something may be around you who doesn't have the best intentions for you. Maybe this person has somehow gotten under your radar. You're just living, you're living your life, your best life, your high life. You're too focused on you as you should be to know about what anyone else has got going on. But just keep in mind that there may be someone around you at this time that may not have the best intentions for you, and that you just need to be alert and to pay attention to anything that would resemble a red flag or that exposes their true intentions for you, like how they're acting with you, what they're saying. Because chances are you may have experiences before, and because it's in Venus retrograde and we're having the past lessons, you could have a past relationship, you could have a past kind of emotional trigger that comes up for you. Just pay attention to what people are showing you. Listen and be in silence, and people will fill that silence with whatever they need to divulge, because people are uncomfortable in silence, especially if they have a guilty conscience. So just sit and listen, be present, hear what they have to say. You already know in your mind that this day someone may not have your best intentions for you. They may be dishonest, they may be trying to use you or something like that. Well, just pay attention to what your intuition says about them, because that's all you need to know. Okay, and then we're going to end the week, August 6th. The sun is going to square Jupiter. This is going to be in the evening. This is going to be a time to rest and recharge. You're giving too much of yourself away. Rest and recharge, because you're not taking the time to recuperate before beginning again. You need to rest and recharge. Not everyone's problems are your problems. Take care of you. It's okay to be selfish. People say taking care of you, having self-care is selfish. It isn't. It's absolutely required. You cannot pour from an empty cup. And if you pour from an empty cup, you're going to end up bleeding on people who didn't cut you. You're going to end up lashing out. You're going to end up, because you're coming from a place of depletion. I can't speak today at all. You're coming from a place of depletion and not one of fullness. Therefore, your interactions and what you provide energy towards. Can't speak. Towards. Whatever you put your energy towards is going to be where you manifest. Okay? You need to heal yourself, and that is the time period. When I talk about the phases and the cycles of the wheel, so the wheel would be the wheel of harvest. Okay, that's how majority of Wiccan and pagan holidays are made up. It's based off the wheel of the harvest. Well, as you notice, we have 4 planets in retrograde. Towards the end of the month of August, we're going to have 2 more. Okay, so that's a purposeful slowdown, which, think of it kind of like if you came from the time period of VHS tapes. Think of the rewind. Things are being rewound, so that way you can fully get the scope and absorb everything that you need to see and experience before you move on. Okay? And we're getting ready to get to the harvest. So harvest would be Lunazda, which is August 1st. So excited. Lunazda is like one of my favorite holidays because it happens to be the anniversary of one of my manifestations. It's a very important manifestation of mine that I feel so blessed to have, that I've been working forward and toward for the past 2 years. It is an anniversary for me. But Lunazda is the reap of the harvest, okay? And then you have Mabon, which is for the reap of the harvest and just being in the bounty, okay? So think Thanksgiving, say if you're in the U.S. area, Thanksgiving, where you be grateful. You have the bounty of your harvest. You're having the joy of being around people. You're having the gatherings. You're reveling in your success with the people that matter and that you care about, okay? But then what happens after that? We have Yule. We have Samhain, then Yule. But it's a slowdown, because that is the time period of the wheel where everyone goes within. There's introspection. The earth dies, then it is reborn again, and spring, for life, but everything is supposed to stay as they are. And that's what also is going to happen on August 6th. It's going to be an equilibrium. Things are going to stay as they are, okay? And because there may be a delay in this expansion that you're trying to have, and this luck that you're trying to have. But it's a purposeful delay. Don't get upset with delays. It could be a blessing in disguise. You could be protected from something that you don't have any knowledge about. And it's for your best benefit that you don't have knowledge about it, so you don't dwell on it, so you don't have all that energy focused on the anxiety and your insecurities and the whys and the what ifs and why am I not good enough and blah blah blah. Delays, especially during retrogrades, can be super beneficial, as the majority of the time they're blessings in disguise. Okay, so say like for example Mercury retrograde. There's issues with travel, there's issues with technology, there's issues with communication. So if you're running late, in the morning you're running late to get to work, get to school, wherever you're trying to go, and you're just mad, you're angry, but what you didn't realize was that there was a car accident down the street and you just bypassed it by being a couple minutes late. So these things are blessings in disguise. So don't get discouraged, if things aren't happening. It's what is meant to, because we are in that time period of the wheel. We're going to reap our rewards, and then it's a time of going within. We're absorbing everything that's happened this year, the rewards, the punishments, the things that need healed that, we may have thought we healed from before, but we apparently didn't. The deep things that have caught away at our psyche. So for me, this instance, I go over the astrological events, and it's supposed to be like signifiers of your day, and you decide how that applies to you. But for me, this week, so say this week I had, we had the strong action of fate that couldn't be avoided. And we were to look at areas to study. And this area that we were drawn to pursue, the further the studying of, would provide us with some deep healing that we didn't know would lead to that. Well, for me, you all know that I've been studying space. I've just everything that I can get my hands on with it. So not just astrology or being limited to that, just everything to find out what I'm supposed to find out. Well, in this finding of the out, I came across something that was truly transformative for me, in this discovery. I found out that this person that means a lot to me, and should, by role and definition, should mean a lot to me. But on a cosmic level, it said this person would have the inability to ever know love for me. And it had nothing to do with me. And technically had nothing to do with that person either. It was a cosmic thing, like I didn't know it until I was able to study the natal charts, until I was able to study that. And it's like I found out that it had nothing to do with me. The issues this person I had throughout our lives, the challenges, the separations, the walking of the ways, it was meant to, and it was fated, because it was literally written that way. It was written that we would have family issues, that we would be the challengers to the old outdated beliefs, that we would walk away from family, that we may even walk away from each other, but that, like I said, this person wouldn't be able to know love towards me, would be in a place of jealousy and envy because they didn't have that understanding. But then they also weren't meant to. And this person and I had the same realization. We had the same truth bomb exploded on us at the same moment. And it was truly revolutionary for me. Because think about it, you have childhood trauma, you have all that stuff, and the feelings and stuff, and people think that kids don't pick up on energies, they don't pick up on adults at all. And I knew that this person hated me my whole life. Like I knew that they hated me. And I could never figure out why, but I was angry. I was so angry as a child because I knew this person hated me. But at the time, I was being gaslit. I was having people tell me it was all in my head and that I have an attitude problem and things like that. It turns out it had nothing to do with me. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, the tool of detachment is so beneficial in this way, because I looked with the eye of curiosity versus the eye of judgment, and I was able to find my answer. And not only was I able to find my answer, that there's nothing wrong with me, that I, I'm not a terrible person. I didn't go out there and do things to this person because I never acted that way. And if any of you know me, I don't act that way. I'm pristine in my actions. I'm pristine in what I do and how I embolden and embody my message to the world. But this person, we both, our fates that are separate but tied together is that we both had issues with self-worth, and it was something that was done to them that was passed on to me. And that is generational trauma. And it was literally generational trauma that was written in the stars. And it was through, like I said, looking through the lens of curiosity versus the lens of judgment, that I was able to find our compromise, our path forward, if they so wanted it. It was like, we both had the same kind of challenges. We both had the same kind of purpose in life. They may not be able to ever love me, but they will have the ability to respect and to have an alliance with me. If we both have the same end goal, which is to break old, outdated beliefs, to be the revolutionary of your line, to break those generational curses. If that is your responsibility, say for this person, they were the beginning torchbearer. They were the ones who had to feel the pain of not ever receiving unconditional love from anyone. They had to feel that pain to decide for themselves that they would rather leave and start a new life than to purposely live that way in a way that was unhappy, and they knew they wouldn't be fulfilled. They left for that. But it's like once they got to a certain age, the burden of that torch got too heavy, and then it got passed on to me. But then when that torch got passed on to me, I had the same challenges. I had the same cycles that I had to go through. I had the same traumas that were inflicted upon me to be that torch bearer and to bear the burden of that torch, so that way to bear the full burden, because I wasn't going to pass it on. I refused to pass on that torch to my children. So I bared the full burden of it. And I tell you, I say the past 6 years has been a time of deep healing for me. And through this research, through the idea that my intuition was trying to gave me the answers that I needed, that technically this person isn't evil either. Sometimes there's no good, there's no evil, there's just that gray in between. This person wasn't good or evil. This was just the cards they were dealt in life, that it didn't matter who was born, what soul came to this world that day. If they were born in this place and at this time, this person would never be able to have love towards them, and would be more prone to have envy and jealousy and hatred of them. But that's a them decision, though. If this is your reality, if this is your truth, what do you do with it? If you know that you are at no fault of your own programmed to hate someone, if you have that knowledge, what do you do with it? You know that anything you do now would be an act of karma for you or that person. So if you and yourself are not acting in a pristine way, that karma is going to get brought back to you, especially if something was done against your own blood. You can separate. Sometimes silence and distance is exactly what you need, because some things, even truthful, can be very hurtful and may need to be said, but it can still be very hurtful. Silence and distance is required sometimes, okay? But say if they decide that's not going to be my fate. I don't want to be the poison to something that I love. I don't want to be something that I don't want to be their biggest enemy. I definitely don't want to be that for anyone. I definitely don't want to be anyone's enemy if I don't have to be, But if I knew that would be my role, that I was going to be the villain in this person's life, and that was fated to me, then I would come up with actions to where I couldn't inflict any further harm on that person. I would see what compromise, what common ground that could be made in order for us. I know there may not be an actual relationship, because you might not be able to have a relationship with people like this, but you can at least have an understanding, and that goes into this week. You are to utilize your relationships, both with yourself and with other people, and you discover your why, and you discover what things mean to you, and you establish your belief systems, your boundaries, what you're going to tolerate and what you're not going to tolerate, because what you are willing to let done to you will be done to you. Like if you allow people to disrespect you, I can't talk at all. If you allow people to disrespect you, they will. If you allow people to give you the bare minimum, they will. So you determine the requirements to sit at your table, okay? You set that, not anyone else. You set the requirements to sit at your table. And say if it's a past person, the requirements you may have had back then may not be the same. You aren't a different person. You're not the same version of you. You've healed. You've done the work. You may not be the same version. So your requirements may be different, and you are entitled to have those requirements because it's who gets access to you, and that's your biggest privilege, but also your biggest responsibility is who has access to you and your energy. Okay? And like I said, this week it was very emotional for me. I cried a little bit. And it wasn't even just crying for myself. It was like kind of like Ender's Game where he loves his enemy. Mine was, and I even apologized to the person. I didn't do any wrong, but I was sorry that was their fate, that they were fated to hate something that would be one of the only avenues for unconditional love for them. And it hurt my heart because I was like, that sucks. That sucks. It sucks that you were never able to know love and that you tried to hurt something that would provide you with that love that you were missing. I was super sad for them. But then it also gave me hope because I did the research. I looked further, like I was instructed to do. And I found that we both had the same destination. And if the weight of the torch got too heavy, we could just combine it together and get what we're going to get together, I'm here to get what's mine. And if that's what you're after too, let's get it together, But if you're not going to grow with me, you'll get left behind. And that's my own belief system that I have. It's grow with me because I'm not going backward. To go backward is death. I will not go backwards, but I will go forward. And these are the requirements. And that goes into the chakra of the week, guys, which is the Crown Chakra. Here, okay? The Crown Chakra with the mantra, all is one. This is our psychic center for higher knowing. This is going to be another week where our intuition's very heightened. It's connected to our pineal gland and cerebral cortex. The pineal gland regulates an amino acid used to produce hormones that regulate sleep, appetite, emotions, consciousness, and mystical and psychic experiences. The energy currents are taken into the body through a stream. So think like when you do guided meditation or anything like that, or you do some self-healing Reiki, you are to envision a light to shine down into your crown chakra that radiates through the rest of your body, engulfing you in that light and filling you with the love of source. And this is where we receive spiritual energies and guidance necessary to activate our purpose. Remember, this week we're going to have our intuition work hand in hand with our purpose and getting us there. So the yang function to this chakra is to live our divine identity by expressing our purpose. And the yin function of this chakra is the ability to take in energies essential to feeding our spiritual nature. This is our means for understanding our path and purpose. This is the source of prophecy. This is where source from prophecy comes from. Like I went over the Lunasa and manifestation. Write your shit down. Write it down. And then you'll be able to pinpoint the time of years. And when I say it's an anniversaries, I know anniversaries for some people are just like romantic events. For me, it's something that ends up repeating every year at the same time. So regardless, say if it's attached to a person or an event, no matter what I do, the spiral happens. I end up repeating an experience, or I have the same experience repeated again, but I am in a different state of consciousness and I'm in a different level. Like I'm not stuck at this level. So say if on a vibration level from 1 to 10, say if I was a 3 last year, I'm at a 5 this year. And then the next year you'll go to a 7, and then you'll go to an 8, like whatever. But things for me end up repeating, and Lunasa is a time period for me spiritually that has repeated itself. But it's something that I hold most dear to me, and that's something that I am most blessed and grateful for, that I was provided with this opportunity, that I had the intuitive inkling to follow, even though I was scared. I was scared. I didn't know. It was a path that was not something that I would have considered, but I have no regrets. I would choose everything that I've chosen again. Yeah. Okay, and so if this chakra is at a misalignment, if it is out of alignment, you have immune system disorders, or all problems relating to pineal gland malfunctions. You have an experience of a lack of direction, headaches, dizziness, which can lead to addictions that stem from overeating or having an overcommitment to something. So being overly spiritual or being overly having an over appetite or having just binge and purge, something of that nature. If you need to, guys, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Our breakthrough's coming. I didn't even finish the end of my week. So at the end of the week, when I figured all that out about myself and my soul purpose and all that, we were supposed to, the conversations would lead us to an understanding that also provide us with ideas. Remember, right now is the time to enjoy the process, to enjoy the learning. Your reward will come later, but you need to enjoy the process. And I was talking to somebody, lovely soul, love her to death, she knows who she is, but talking to her, and all of a sudden I wrote. Like, I was talking to her, I had a subject, and then I just wrote. And then I started creating other things, and it had me look into other things. So that's how it works, guys. So if you follow the promptings, if you think of the stars as like a map, it gives you some kind of inkling of what you may experience that day, but it's not just going to be you who experiences it. It's going to be the collective unconscious that experiences it too. So you'd be surprised at how many people go through kind of the same shit that you do at the same time. And if you are watching this message, I know it's said late in the filming, but if you're watching this message, you're meant to hear the words. You are meant to hear what is said. It might spark an idea for you. It might give you another topic. I mean, if you're not somebody who watches me every week, but this message this week resonated with you, take it, please. Go look where you're supposed to look so that way you can fulfill your own soul purpose, because that's what this week is about. We're getting closer and closer to understanding what it's all about, like what our role is, what our place is, what we need to do in order to feel fulfilled, what we need to do to be happy, what areas that we need to examine to ensure it doesn't stop our happiness. Okay? Alright, guys, well, that's Belair with a Spark to the Self, going over the astrological energy forecast. See you later. Bye, guys.